How do paranormal people? A cuckoo, barabba-jackal. I'd like to welcome you to our magical mystery tour, what we call the Ghosting Counts of the Third Kind Podcast Show. How are we, folks?
Oh, God. All better now. Oh, dear.
We've got the usual crew with us tonight. Marie, Faye, and Nick and Nick.
Nick.
Good evening.
How are you all?
I'm all right now.
dear.
It was a bit hard work doing that intro.
I can't breathe.
Yeah.
Oh, is that it then?
That's it then.
Thanks
That's
for
the end of
listening.
it. Sorry, I just had to get a Donovan thing in there with the barabba-jackal.
Rabbit jackal. Do we actually have a topic tonight?
No.
We don't.
Do we ever?
Yes.
Occasionally, we try to be professional with it. No?
It doesn't often work.
Communication with spirits.
Yeah.
We've done a bit on it. We've done a bit before.
Well, I've got a question.
Go on.
I've got a question.
Go on then. Question.
You know, as we speak to spirits that are so-called deceased, passed on,
Yeah.
what do we think about speaking to future spirits? Do you think it's possible?
Yes.
Like the Doddleston. Like the
Definitely.
Doddleston thingy bob. What was
Yeah,
it called?
yeah,
It wasn't an
definitely, yeah.
experiment, was it? It
No,
was,
they're communicating. Faye's lost it completely.
I'm lost now. What do you mean by communicate with future spirits? Like people
Right,
that
what
haven't
happened
died
was-
yet?
I'll tell you what happened. We were messing around with the ghost box. Me and
Okay.
Nick.
Okay.
Right. And we got some spirits through. Halfway through, you know the SD experiment? What we do? Halfway through,
Can you just explain that for people that don't
the
know?
SD experiment is an SD experiment. You should know what it is. No. It's a ghost box, which is actually an AM, FM radio that just keeps scanning.
Okay.
And it's said that spirit can manipulate and pull words from it, really, to communicate with you. So the SD experiment is me in one room asking questions, and it was Nick with the actual ghost box with headphones on in another room, so he doesn't know what I'm saying. Sorry. And we did this. You thought we had a good one at paralysis when we did it before at Pall Mall.
Yep.
This was 10 times better
When was this?
the other day.
Oh, was it?
Oh, was
it
it
was
without
really-
us?
Yeah,
Oh.
it was without you.
Oh, you were doing a little bit on your own, were you?
Yeah.
Nice.
We're just trying something out actually. But what happened was we were communicating with what was dead people. Then there was a shift in it, it was weird. And I thought, this doesn't sound right. And anyway, I was asking questions and he was replying to it. It was somebody from the past who said they were still alive. And they were communicating, but they kept asking for this person who was in the future. Honestly, it was dead
no, he's
weird.
gone now.
Yeah, you've lost me.
No, I know it was. I don't know how I can explain it any better, but
Did you record this session?
on phone, yeah, but I can't get the thing off. I will manage to get it for you so you can listen to
I
it.
will see. Okay.
Are you with me?
Yeah.
But what it was was just like somebody talking to us. You know how we usually have the normal responses, but this just it took a bit of a shift. And I said, "Are you dead?" Like, no. And it said it was talking to us and this other person at the same time. And they were in the past. But it said it went forward to, what was the date? I can't remember.
Has that happened before with the computer?
Yeah,
That's the Doddleston.
That's the
That's
The
Doddleston.
Doddleston,
And we
yeah.
had the same sort of thing.
Right.
It's dead weird.
Date-wise, it was 2047.
2047.
They said we didn't communicate with anyone from that time, did we?
No.
I think it was the person who we were talking to, if I'm right, because I'm just as in the dark
Of
as
course,
you.
yeah.
Because I had the headphones on, so I don't know what I'm
So,
talking about.
so just to
really.
make it clear, you had headphones plugged into a spirit box
Yeah.
and keeping perfectly quiet, and all as you can hear in those headphones is what's coming through on that spirit box. You can't hear anything that's going on around you or anything. In a completely separate room, Nick would be sitting and quietly asking questions, and then the theory is that the answers to Nick's questions would come through the spirit box, and then you just speak out loud what you hear.
Yeah.
So at the time, you don't know whether what you're hearing and saying is relevant to what Nick is asking. And it's only when you listen back, isn't it, that you can put the questions and the answers together.
Yeah. But after, I found it quite interesting, because there was lots of communication coming through, lots of words, but they were going quite fast. I don't know, I can't remember if at one point I asked them to slow down, because I was missing loads of, the words were coming through, they were there, but I was kind of only getting yes and no for the most of it. Well, from what I can remember, I was getting mostly yes and no.
Only because I was asking yes and no questions at that time, but the other stuff that was coming through, we were actually having a conversation. And at one point it asked, it was after this bloke, what was his name? Robert.
Robert, the name.
Robert.
Yeah.
Is that you, Robert? And I said, no, we're not Robert, and this, that, and the other. Then it came out, Robert, who are these? Who are these? So,
Really?
yeah, and honestly, it sort of put shivers down me, because
Why are we only hearing about this today, right now?
because I thought it was a good thing to talk about on the podcast.
Keeping secrets.
No. And it all came about because we didn't want to include you in it. No, I'm only joking. It was that raw thing you were on about.
Yeah.
You know, that communication.
That was you, Faye.
What have I done?
That
No,
raw.
we talked
The
about
raw. The lady that could communicate with what's
With
supposed to have been
Ra.
like a race. You sent it to us.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. So
Sorry.
we thought
You got
try
that in the
something.
end.
So I
Sorry.
think it could be a way for Go to try and it got me more interested in, as you know, my main thing is communication with dead people, but this was a different level. It was weird. It was
Do you think it matters on location?
no, I don't think so.
No.
Was
So you
this
don't-
evening or daytime?
Saturday night, it's at night time.
Evening.
But you can't come anyway.
All right.
Anyway, but I think it's something we should go forward with here to try and push it. If you've noticed, this is very bad, and not a lot of people believe in it. There's a reason why I've left me scrying mirrors opposite each other. 'Cause I'm trying.
Uncovered?
Yeah, uncovered. 'Cause I'm trying, if it supposedly worked, to make some sort of portal that I can communicate with people.
Because that did mention a portal.
It mentioned portal as well,
Okay.
so that's the reason.
And we were only talking about portals. Whenever it was.
Last week.
Was it last week?
recording? Yeah, I think so.
So I think it could be a way forward to try and the SD experiment's really good anyway. We all like that anyway. So it just depends. I mean, it might never happen again.
But I think when you get to that point, I think it's something that should be done regular and keep on going with it.
Yeah.
Because it could probably only...
I think we ought to designate a night for do it. And see who's the best
Very
at
interesting.
getting the information. I think we all ought to have a go.
I think you guys have always had a good connection
but-
with that Estes, though, haven't you? Or
Yeah, we have,
normally, you know, they've had good results.
But other entities or other things could respond to somebody else, couldn't they?
Of
Do you know
course,
what I mean?
yeah.
But the interesting thing with that was the person who we were speaking to. Did she say she was a witch or?
Yeah, it come. First of all, we got Edwin, and then you heard somebody shouting.
Yeah.
Alwyn.
Alwyn.
It was like in the background. He said I can hear somebody shouting Alwyn in the background, and then it came through that she was a witch. Now, you know my feelings on that, so I was happy to talk to her. This, that, the other, and we were talking to her for 10 minutes, and then it just changed to this other thing. It's weird.
Be interesting to listen to that, Nick.
But we wouldn't. Well, I'm still in the dark. I only pick up little bits like what it was about. But am I right in saying that she was saying she wasn't dead?
Yeah, because we thought it was her that was speaking to me.
So it was like live conversation. Because at the time when we were speaking to her, she wasn't dead.
Because I asked her if she was dead, and she said no.
Do you not think?
And she said, "Where's Robert?"
Do you think it could be that you're communicating with someone that's not aware that they're dead, though?
Well, I asked that question, but she said, "No, I'm alive. I'm talking to you." At one point, she said, I can't remember the exact words, but she said she was talking to both of us and Robert. And I said, "Well, at the same time," and it came through another channel. And then at one point it was Roberty with ease. Where's Robert? I need to speak to Robert.
Sounds a bit like Breaker on the Side.
Yeah, I know. Yeah, it's weird.
So did you ask who Robert was?
Yeah, but we never actually got that. She never actually.
No.
And at that point as well, he'd been under for over half an hour, so it
Yeah,
was
that's
time to come
plenty.
out, so yeah.
Oh yeah. Ears ring after that.
So really, it was only like the last 10 minutes that this come through.
Right.
It's a shame it wasn't at the beginning. And we haven't had, well, obviously that was that Saturday, so we haven't had a chance.
But you know, most people, because of the effects it has on you, obviously with the headphones and the staticky white noise, a lot of people only sit over maximum 20 minutes to do that. So if you're saying it wasn't till the last 10 minutes, maybe it does take longer than that
maybe
initial
so.
20 minutes
you
of what
could be
people
right.
normally do.
Yeah, you could be right. It was obvious he was struggling a bit with it after half an hour.
Oh, yeah,
so,
I can imagine,
and I
yeah.
was just trying to get this last bit of information out. I can't, you know what my memory's like. But I wanted this question answering. I think it might have been Robert, who is actually Robert. Why do you need to be talking to him and not talking to us? But she never answered, and then you just took the headphones off, didn't you? Because he was
Had enough, yeah. How interesting.
So there you go.
Yeah.
So I think that should be something we need to push forward with.
Yeah. Maybe we could play the audio if we can at one point.
Yeah, we could film it
Yeah.
as well. If we can start doing that. Well, we were only on about earlier. We need to start doing more investigation here and stuff like that. That's only going to help, in my opinion. What'll come through, I don't know, but not everybody's a fan of two mirrors opposite each other. But this is our place. We'll do what we want.
Yes.
So,
If there's anywhere to speak to the past, it would be probably here in this building.
yeah, because it's
Quite
an old
old
building,
building.
isn't it?
How interesting. I can't believe you've kept it to yourselves for all this long. I'd be itching to tell people about
I'll
something
be honest
like
with
that.
you, we tried it and I forgot all about it till we just said. Just do that much, don't we?
Yeah. Professionals, aren't we? It's
Professionals,
like when I saw
yeah.
that UFO. I forgot all about it until I got home, and it just twigged and
Do you think you're supposed to, though?
not remember it.
Forget it.
Probably, because I did actually totally forget about it.
Isn't it strange if you see something that's so out of the norm like that you can just forget about it within half an hour? That's strange.
But they do say if you've seen a graph that you've been on it, so I don't know.
Do they? We saw a weird ball of light, didn't we, in the sky when we were driving home one night. It was there 1 minute and gone the next, wasn't it?
Yeah.
So that must mean we were both been on it, Faye. Together.
On the craft or on the booze?
I don't drink. It wasn't me. Can't say the same for Faye, mine.
No, I was driving.
I was driving.
I was driving, wasn't I?
See?
Oh, see?
No,
you
I
don't
was-
know what was going on.
I was
there, have you?
driving because I was going up. It was by
You
the corner. and we
absolutely
were,
right.
Yeah,
Yeah, you were
I
driving.
was driving. Yeah. So it was you, Marie. You were
Faye,
sozzled.
you were driving.
I was driving.
You were driving.
So it's good. Good stuff.
Yeah.
So do you think we can talk to the future then?
Well, now you've just come out with that little tidbit of information.
No, it wasn't what we was looking for, though, was it? It was just out of the blue.
Just happened, yeah.
So,
But it got me thinking with that raw stuff. If we can communicate with people that are dead,
In the
why
past,
can't we
yeah.
forward or backwards or whatever?
So what's the theory on that then? Are you saying like are you communicating with people in the future on a different plane or what?
I actually
Is it
asked
just
if
frequency?
I asked if they were from this earth because I was thinking, oh, I hope I've got an alien here. I hope I've got something. But they said they were from Earth. I said, you actually live on Earth? And that yeah, we're from Earth.
17 something you wanted.
1769 or something like that it was.
Okay, so where have you had the future bit from then? Because somebody came
She
through
gave a
with
date.
the same lady who
the
was
same.
from 17 something or other was saying that she was speaking to someone in 2040
She said, I'm
something.
speaking to Robert, and I said, well, where's Robert? And he said he came out with 20, and then he said straight after 20 he came out with 69. 49, 40
47.
something, 2040 something it
7, I
was.
think 2047. I think.
2047, yeah. But forget the first date, had to go all around the Wrekin and finally got that. But because I was hoping for like 1600 or something, for the witch trials, because she said she was a witch. But it doesn't mean that she couldn't have.
So basically, excuse me, what you're saying is that somebody in the past was communicating with somebody in the future, and you happened to just tap in the middle somewhere.
middle. yeah.
Interrupted. It was like we were interrupting something.
Yeah. Because she seemed a bit pissed off, should I say? I don't know. She just didn't want to speak to us. She did speak to us, but it was as though she didn't want to make conversation because she was trying to get in touch with this Robert. How are you looking? No, is how I looked when I was listening to
So,
it.
do you think that Robert in the future was trying to communicate with the dead, like what we
It could
do,
be, yeah.
and he was communicating with her, and then all of a sudden you stepped in the middle and interrupted their spirit box
I
session?
actually asked a question because she said she was living. So I said, do you think we're the ghosts? Do you think we're dead then if you were communicating with us? But she said no. So it's all weird. So we're writing a book next week. It will be available on all platforms.
Audible. It's going to be Audible.
Audible, yes, be on Audible. But it'll only be about 20 minutes long.
So,
dear.
do you think we can communicate with people in the future?
Definitely. I have no doubt now. Well, actually, we didn't communicate with them.
No.
We communicated with somebody from the past. We didn't actually have a conversation with Robert.
So you weren't communicating with anybody in the future. She was.
She was, yeah.
2 people.
Yeah,
us
yes. And
somebody
him.
else.
Yeah. So, was she trying to communicate with us, or were we trying to communicate with her? Is she trying to communicate with Robert, or was Robert in the future trying to
Oh,
communicate
come
with
on
her in
now,
the
yeah.
past?
It's taken me this long, get my head around this bit.
Yeah. It was good.
But you see, I've always had this theory about when we do our investigating, and we're calling out and we're asking for communication, and quite often we get a repeat of what we've said. So we might say something, and then a spirit box or EVP or something, you'll hear a repeat of what we've said, like a word of what we've just said, or we say, hi, my name's Nick, and then all of a sudden on an EVP you might pick up somebody saying Nick. You know what I mean? And you go, they've said my name, whatever. Now, I've always had this theory of, are they sitting in the house somewhere and all of a sudden they can hear a voice? Like, we sit here and all of a sudden we can hear a voice. And if I was sitting here and I heard, and all of a sudden I heard somebody go, Nick, I'd say, Nick? I've just heard somebody say Nick, and you repeat what they've said. And I've often thought, is it like two planes or two existences somehow? And they occasionally, for whatever reason, something happens and they can hear what we are saying and we can hear what they're saying. And they're sometimes just as amazed and confused as we are.
I think I told you that story, didn't I, about that old woman and her grandson and his two mates. Did I tell you that?
No.
Where they both saw each other.
Oh, yes. Yeah, you did, yeah. I mean, do people...
Can't you remember that? No. A lad went into his nan's house, and his nan said to him, I've just seen 3 shadows walk across the hallway there, 3 human shadows. I said, you're joking? She says, no. She was sat in a chair and nothing else of it. And then years later, he inherited the house, and him and 2 of his mates walked through the front door, walked up the hallway, and saw his nan in the chair.
No way.
So they'd seen the reverse of what his nan saw years before. So,
blimey.
So that could be a similar sort of instance.
So, what about this? Forget your head wrapped around then.
Go on then.
So, do you think that these people back in... Because, I mean, hauntings have been reported for age, haven't they? You know what I mean? Yeah. So, do you think these people that lived in these castles hundreds and hundreds of years ago that reported that their castles were haunted because they could hear us trying to communicate, or even walking around their castles investigating, and occasionally they can see us and hear us, and occasionally and it's like a bit of a loop?
That's like the others.
Do you know what I mean?
Yeah,
like
same sort of thing, yeah.
So it's like a loop. So they think it's haunted because they're aware of us sometimes, and we think it's haunted because we're aware of them sometimes.
There was a time where I couldn't get it out of my head, a few years ago, thinking, well, are they the ghosts or am I the ghost? Do you know what I mean? The same instance. So, am I living? I can't ever imagine it, but and spirits,
if it's all happening at the same time, which some people do think that everything has happened in the past and the future,
just a different timeline
is happening. Like I said before, and Marie laughed at me.
Yeah,
when you've got your timeline.
Oh, I laugh at everybody.
Your timeline running horizontal like that.
Flat,
yeah.
Bod.
I'm not even getting there. And then, so you've got the timeline running horizontal, and that's how we visualise it, running like that, and along like a line on a page.
Yep.
What happens if you turn the line on the page
turn it up,
and then but you're still moving that way, everything has happened at the same time. Do you get what I mean?
Have you seen Stranger Things?
No.
No,
I'm not seeing Stranger Things.
I've watched a few years back. I watched the first when the kids were watching it. I watched the first one, but I wasn't much for it.
Haven't you?
Maybe I should try again. Do you think?
Says.
From the beginning.
Yeah.
Well, how many is there now? 4? There's the 4 seasons. 4.
I think so. Yeah.
I've got to fit that in with me Married at First Sight, and
Oh God.
yeah,
You don't watch that, do you?
yeah. Chosen, is it that one? Can't fit them all in.
They're all set up, aren't they?
Don't know.
Of course they are.
Don't know. I love it. I
Yeah.
love it. Anyway,
Anyway.
Stranger Things.
Yeah.
On a par, really, aren't they?
Yeah, really, yeah. Yeah. So have you got a story to tell us?
No,
No.
no,
Just no.
Hang on.
no. Just no.
Oh,
Don't pick on me. Don't pick on me when I haven't been able to Google all week.
Google.
Because you've not told me the topic, because you've kept it to yourself. Your little
It was
experiment.
a good one, though, wasn't
It
it?
was a very good one. It was very interesting.
There you go. See, you were paranormal pot pickers. We do actually do something apart from talk shite on here.
Yeah, occasionally.
Yeah, we talk shite in other places
Yes,
as well.
we do. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, that's really interesting. That's definitely something I think we should try more of. It's quite
yeah, we do. Yeah, we need to do it.
brilliant.
Yeah,
That was a
cool.
short and sweet one.
Yeah, it's all right. Little one.
Little one. What people don't know is that we have actually been recording for about 45 minutes.
Yeah.
We just couldn't breathe for Nick's little intros.
Yeah,
so we have been sat here for a lot longer.
Yeah. It was going to be called Intro Tro Show.
The intro show. I'll let somebody else do one next time.
We have got, don't think that we're ignoring your messages and questions as well. Like I've said before, we wait until we've got quite a few in and then we can do a whole podcast answering them all at the same time, save doing bits and bobs here and there. So we will be doing another one of those shortly.
We will.
Cool.
Excellent. Yeah, short but sweet.
Yeah, thanks for listening.
Goodbye.
Goodbye.
Phase woke up at the end.
Brilliant.
Dear.
Bye.
Bye.
Cheery bye.
Bye.